Welcome to RVs to Go. We're going to do an orientation video on a couple of new travel trailers that we have. It's called the R-Pod line. We bought these specifically because they're only 6.5 feet wide. They're designed to be pulled by mid-sized vehicles without mirror extensions. These do come equipped with electric trailer brakes on them, single axle. You're not required to have a brake controller in your vehicle, although we strongly recommend it. If you're on our insurance, it's a requirement. But we're trying to hit the demographics of the mid-sized trucks. These are designed to be hook up and go units. The orientation video here is to show you how to use the entire travel trailer. When you come in to pick up the trailer, we're actually going to back you up, hook you up, plug you in, make sure that your lights are set right, and then kick you out of here. We don't want you here more than about 20 to 30 minutes. It's designed to make good use of your time and good use of our time. When you show up here, you're required to have a 2-inch ball on your receiver, 2-inch ball, and it's required to be at 18-inch ball height. People ask me what that is. It's 18 inches. Measured down here at the bottom. This trailer is perfectly level right now, and we're at 18 inches, so the bottom of your ball should be at 18 inches. So when you show up here, we want you to have a 2-inch ball at 18-inch ball height, so that when you're pulling the trailer down the road, it's not too low or it's not too high, potential of dragging. It just pulls so much better, so much more even. Additionally, you're to show up here with either a 4-way flat or a 7-way round. Those are the two standard plug-ins. The trailer, because it has electric trailer brakes, is equipped with the 7-way round, which gives you a left turn, right turn, tail light ground, as the 4-way does, but also gives you a point for the electric trailer brakes. So your socket on your vehicle will look much like this. Whether or not you have electric trailer brake controller or not will look like that. If you do not have that, you're to show up here with what's called a 4-way flat, which is the opposite to this. We will allow you to pull, we will provide this pigtail. We will simply plug in our 7-way and then plug in the 4-way. Now, obviously, since you only have a 4-way flat, you're only going to have a right turn, left turn, tail light, and a ground. You're not going to have electric trailer brakes at that point. So, just a reminder, show up here with a 2-inch ball at 18-inch ball height to the bottom of the ball, and either a 4-way flat or a 7-way round trailer plug. I'm going to mention a couple more things here before we go inside. This is your propane tank. It's full when you pick it up. Return it full. This is the off-on switch. You just turn the knob to the left to turn it on. If for some reason you have an emergency, you have a car accident or whatnot, please, if it is safe to do so, come back here and turn the valve off. This is removable as well if you wanted to actually take it off and fill it up before you get home and you don't want to pull the trailer into a gas station. You're more than welcome to unscrew this and lift the tank off and take it and get it full. We're going to hook you up before you leave, so we're going to show you how to do the safety change at that time. This is your 12-volt battery, and then if you can scan down here, I'm going to show you the stab jacks. Right down here, these are what we call stab jacks, short for stabilizing jacks. You can see that we have these down right now. I'm just going to bring those back up. Once you get to your camping location, what you're going to do is you're going to unhook your vehicle from the trailer, and you're going to adjust and make it level from front to back with the top jack, with the jack right here. This is what you're going to use to level the trailer up and down, make sure it's nice and level. Once that's done, then and only then you're going to use the stabilizing jack handle, and you're going to run these jacks down till all 4 corners until they touch, and maybe a little bit of pressure. These are not designed to lift the trailer. These are only designed to stabilize it. So again, don't lift the trailer with the stab jacks. Use the front jack, as those are only designed to stabilize the load. Obviously, before you leave, when you back up, hook up your your vehicle to the travel trailer. Then you want to retract those before you take off and go down the road. So the next shot we're going to do is going to be inside. So let's head that way. Okay, we're inside the little R-Pod, and the first thing we're going to look at is the control panel. It tells you how all the systems are working by simply just pressing on the bottom one with battery. Shows up as full charge on a battery. The next one is your fresh water. That's your potable, portable, non-drinkable. So potable means you can boil with it. Portable means you're transporting it with you. Non-drinkable is I wouldn't drink it on a dare. Bring your own bottled water. Next one is the black, and as you can see, it's completely empty. And the gray is completely empty. So the wastewater from the shower and the sinks will drain into the gray tank, holding tank, and the toilet will drain into the black tank. So that indicates when you need to dump the holding tanks. Now the water pump switch is right below. Turn that on and activate it. You must have the water pump on. You have to have the water pump on to pump any water out of the freshwater tank. So any water that you want, doesn't matter whether you're going to wash dishes in the sink, take a shower, or use the toilet. To get water from the fresh tank, you must pump it out. So think of that as a reservoir or a well, however you want to. Now, if you're hooked up to city water, it's already pressurized, so you're not using the freshwater water tank. Plus, you don't need to have the water pump on. Recommend not leaving the water pump on while en route. You're more than welcome to leave it on during the daytime or whatever, but when you're traveling on the road, you shouldn't have the water pump on. I'm going to scan just a little bit to the left. Go ahead and turn the water pump switch off. Or I guess we're going to move over to the left. Hot water tank on here is 6 gallons and only takes 12 minutes to heat up. So let me repeat that. 6 gallons, 12 minutes. To turn on the hot water heater, it's activated by propane. You just turn on the switch. It kicks on after about 15-20 seconds. It'll kick on. You'll hear the tick, tick, tick in the ignition or the igniting of the hot water tank. It takes about 12 minutes to heat up. Once it's lit up, then it will stay at that temperature. We don't recommend that you leave the hot water tank on all the time. We'd recommend that you just turn it on just before you want to do dishes or just before you want to take a shower. And that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, the hot water tank is right underneath the back bed. And if it's on and it's cycling on and off all night long, it's going to be very distracting. It's always a potential for fire if something blows up against it. You have little kids walking around it. Depending on the floor plan, it's going to be a spot where they can get burned. So we're going to get set up on the next shoot here. So just give us a second. We just got done with the control panel, so it tells you all the systems working. First thing I want to talk about is 3 systems in any RV. RPod, travel trailer, motorhome, doesn't matter. There are 3 systems: AC, DC, and LP. No, AC is not air conditioning. AC is alternating current. That's electricity. So AC, electricity, DC, direct current, which is battery, and LP, which is propane. So I'm going to use those 3 terms in the rest of the presentation. So if you need to write that down, make sure you write it down so you know when I'm talking to you. The AC is electricity or alternating current. DC is battery or direct current, and LP is propane. The stove is only propane, and so it's LP. You do need a striker for this. Turn the knob to a light position. It says light right there. Bring a striker on. Poof. Boom. Pretty simple assignment. So not really a whole bunch to tell you other than just don't burn yourself. Next system is the refrigerator. This is an interesting piece of equipment because it's actually 3-way. It runs on AC, DC, and LP. So it's called a 3-way refrigerator, hence the term. The mode setting is right over here. So when you touch it, it tells you, displays what it is, or it moves it to, if you hold it long enough. So it just moved down to DC, just moved down to LP. I'm going to move it back to AC here. So that's your mode setting, and it tells you, do you want to be on alternating current, direct current, or liquid propane gas. My advice is to only run it on AC or LP. Direct current is often the battery. I would only do that if you were driving down the road and you knew you had a hot lead on your vehicle. If you don't know what that is, guess what? You don't have one. So that's why I'm telling you not to use it. Your temperature settings over here, so it just goes 1 through 4. Just hold it and it basically moves itself up. So I would leave it on AC when you're plugged into electricity. You're plugged in electricity because you have the shore power cord out and you're plugged into basically an electric box. Going down the road, it goes on to LP, and you want to basically move it over to LP, liquid propane gas, and it will run down the road the entire time under propane. Now, there is a warning to that, is when you're going down the road and you have it on the propane setting or the LP setting, there is a fire. It is a fire on board. And so when you go into the gas station, we're going to advise you to come in here, hold the unit to where that mode button to where everything shuts off, and that completely eliminates the refrigerator from being on LP or anything for that matter. Pull out of the gas station, go ahead and hold this down. So it clicks on, resumes. It's telling you, hey, I'm on propane or I'm on LP. It clicks and lights. Since we're hooked up to AC power, and I know that because the microwave illuminates, that's always my indicator species, if you will. When I walk into an RV, the first thing I always look at is the microwave. And if it's lit up, I know that the vehicle, motorhome, travel trailer, whatever it is, has power to it. If this isn't lit up, that means you have a source problem, that whatever you're plugged into might even be somebody's generator next door, or it might be an extension cord to a garage, or it might be a state park. If this isn't lit up, that means you have a source problem. You need to figure out why you don't have power at your site. If this is lit up and plug-in doesn't work, then it's probably a GFI. That's all we really need to say about that. Moving back down to the refrigerator again real quick. Hold the mode setting just for a second. It tells you, hey, I'm on LP. I'm on the coldest setting. Push down on these two buttons. That's what opens it. Okay. I was really having trouble with this ice box here. I kept pulling on it. Don't do that. It actually folds down. So, and then obviously the refrigerator's on. The example here, if I was to turn the refrigerator completely off, like we were in a gas station, see, you don't have any light there. So, turn it back on. Comes back on. Again, it reminds me that we're on LP. Since we're plugged in electricity, I'm going to want to move this to AC. So microwave, it is a convection microwave. I have no idea what that means, but it gives you like a convection feature. It gives you a microwave and grill. I mean, if you know how that works, great. If you don't, it's a microwave. Next thing I'm going to show you is the furnace over here. All RVs are what's called forced air gas furnace. Forced air is actually the fan that drives it. The fan is run off from a DC battery, and then the LP obviously is the heat source or propane. So I say that because if you're dry camping, you're not plugged into power, you don't have any electricity up here on the microwave, then that tells you that when you're going to bed, you need to make sure that you have a good charge on the battery. Now, how do you know that? Again, indicator on the test switch shows you how well your battery is being charged. We're going to talk about that in a minute as well. I'm going to flip this on, even though it's warm in here. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to run it way high. What you're hearing now is just a fan. That's the DC fan. So that's just what's going to distribute the heat. It's going to run for another 6, 7, 8 seconds, and then you're going to hear a tick, 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 and it's going to light right there. I don't know if you picked that up on the video, but click, it lit. That's the LP ignition, so it's going to bring it up to temperature, so whatever temperature setting you're going to be at. So again, turn it on, fan runs for 20-30 seconds, ignites the propane, brings it up to temperature. You turn the furnace completely off, furnace shuts off immediately, and the fan continues to run for another 15-20 seconds. That's intended to dissipate any unused propane, unburnt propane, and actually just to blow it out and get the heat source out of there. Most of the light switches, that's the light switch for in the bathroom. Most of the light switches are closed, one minute closed, or they're what we call point of service. They're actually on the light themselves. That'll be pretty simple to figure out. I'm going to talk about the bathroom, then we're going to flip around and show you how to make the U-shaped dinette down into a bunk. Right behind me is the bunk feature on this particular unit. 48-inch bunk, so nice and wide. Weight limit on the top bunk is always 200 pounds. Bottom bunk, probably 200 pounds as well, but they don't put an indicator on that. Slipping into the bathroom, this is what they call which that furnace would kick off. This is what they call a wet bath. So the toilet is in the shower. The toilet is in the shower, so that's what makes it a wet bath. The toilet can be in the bathroom, but not in the shower. That's considered a dry bath. So if you're set up to take a shower right now, what you do is go over to the hot water tank, turn it on, wait about 15-20 minutes. You'd come over to these controls here. You don't need to see them, but they're just the shower controls. You turn that water to where it was nice and warm. It's the temperature you wanted, setting you wanted. You take the little handle and you force it to the top, so it's just like on top of the faucet. You force it to the top. and that allows you to turn it on and off here. So it's designed to get the kids wet, or tell your kids to get themselves wet, turn it off, get soaked up, turn it back on, get rinsed off. So a lot of people call those Navy showers. Anyway, you're just making the best use of your 6 gallons of hot water. Toilet, on the other hand, is one of those things that, unfortunately, people try to conserve too much water, and so they end up not using enough water, and that tends to make the indicator panels on the black tank not function as well. So the toilet right here actually has directions right on the back for you guys, if you don't remember this. You pull the handle about halfway. You can hear the pump kick on, because I'm not hooked up to water, so I'm using the fresh water supply here. So pull that about halfway, and that's filling up the bowl. Okay, you're going to take a great big growler here. You want to tell the kids to make sure that that bowl is about 2/3 of the way full. Have a bowel movement, and then pull it all the way, and that flushes and rinses it. The problem you have is when you're trying to not use enough water, especially with bowel movements and toilet paper, you tend to get all that sewage sitting on one side of the tank, and it doesn't float itself and distribute itself evenly. Now, if the kids are just taking a pee, you don't even have to have the water pump on. Just take a pee and flush it, or you can just flush it, pee, and then flush it all in one point. Obviously, you hear the water pump kicking on all the time because that's we're not hooked up to city water, and you're going to see that here in a second. So we're going to get reset up, and I'm going to show you how to run make this dinette down into a bed. Okay, as you can see, there's a U-shaped dinette here, and they have back cushions, corner cushions, and back cushions, corner cushions, and side cushions. And for your benefit, this is what I did for you. Side. So it doesn't matter what side, left side, right side. I wrote right on here what side. I wrote it so that you know which is top and which is bottom, because that's not side, that's something else, whatever. So make this down into a bed. What I'd suggest you do, take the corner pieces out. Look what I did, side, back, back. Another corner piece, what does that say? Back, side. It's so nice of me to do that for you. And then another side piece. What you want to do is you want to tip these bottom cushions up on both sides. These two cushions are interchangeable. There's a little pin right here on this table, and then it basically pushes down just like that. So it sits right into place. There's a couple of little holes, little rings or whatever, and there's some tabs on the bottom of that actually fit down into there. So when you're traveling, you want that table down. You don't want to drive with the table up. So I want you to put the table down in the down position. So you might want to practice that. So with that down, start using these side cushions. Doesn't really matter whether you put these in the middle or the side or whatever. What I've recommended, I've tried this a couple of times, is I would put wherever my body, my head, and most of my body was going to be on the big cushions, and put the two little side cushions on where your feet are. That makes sense. Actually, I used the back one. That was wrong. The two side cushions. So, and then this one you can just stow. So there you have it. Now what did I say? Traveling down the road, make that bed. You don't have to make it into a bed. Just make that table collapse and go sit basically into position. Those little nubs right there go into those little holes, those divots. So that's it. We're gonna head outside and get you guys hooked up and out of here. Okay. All right, we're outside. Gonna finish up this checkout here. If you're going to have the door open, we strongly recommend that you have it tethered back and forth so that you don't have it blowing in the wind. Then just use the screen door here. If you're inside and you really think you need it, you can actually use the deadbolt from inside. But we don't want you using the deadbolt from the outside and locking it. We think they're just too much of a lineup problem. We'd recommend that you don't use it. Outside lock here is nice and easy. Turn it and lock it. you have a grab rail, obviously don't travel down the road without it open. So try to get the kids not to pull. If you don't think you need it and you think the kids are going to abuse it and jerk it and bend it, then just don't use it at all. Just leave it on the side position. Tell them it's to hang, close, or something on. These are AC plugs. Okay, these are going to be live if you're going to be plugged in, or if you're plugged into a generator. So live plugs right here. You might want to bring like an electric fry pan, maybe do breakfast and eggs and bacon and stuff out on the picnic table. So bring yourself a small extension cord, just plug it in here, plug the fry pan in, and go for it. This is a sewer flush system. That's for our use, not yours. This is some small storage. It actually goes all the way through, so those tabs just hold it up. That'd be a good place to store that stabilizing jack. Walk around the back. You have a spare tire. You might glance down and see stabilizing jack number 2 and 3. And then you see the other side of the storage compartment. And again, this goes all the way through. You can see all the way through, so you can put, tent stakes, or if you have one of those pop-up tents for shade and stuff, that's pretty handy as well. Somewhere in the trailer, you're going to have a freshwater hose, a 25-foot freshwater hose, and about a 10-foot sewage dump hose. Not a sewer hose, but a dump hose. So, and again, these are lockable if you want to. This is your hot water tank. This is what we talked about the other day, or a little while ago. 6 gallons, only takes 12 minutes to heat up. Strongly recommend leaving it off the rest of the time. This is the furnace exhaust. So if you do have the furnace on and exhaust this way. Another quick point on that, if you're going to know you're going to be plugged in electricity on your vacation, you may want to just take a small electric heater. That way you don't have to run the furnace as much. Propane furnaces tend to be a little bit more humid than we're mostly used to, so you might want to take a small electric heater as a backup or as a primary, and then use the furnace as a backup. The nice thing about this floor plan is the hot water tank and the furnace are on the opposite side of where you're going to spend most of the time. So most of the time the kids are going to be running around on the other side, so I don't want you to freak out about kids getting burned or anything, but this is nice placement on this particular floor plan because they're on the driver's side, and this is where most of your electrical and stuff is going to be hooked up. This is your freshwater connection, so you take this off and you actually just hook up that water hose. And so if you're hooked up to water, you have water pressure, you're not using your fresh water, you don't need the water pump on. This is the potable, portable, non-drinkable. Potable, portable, non-drinkable. Okay, this is where gravity feed, you just take the same hose that you hooked up here and actually just fill it up. Surprisingly enough, it's about 40 gallons. I'll say that again, that's about 40 gallons of fresh water, so that's a substantial amount of water on board for this size of vehicle. The back vents here are the back of your refrigerator. Your refrigerator is placed right here, and so remember it goes on to LP, AC, LP, so when it's on liquid propane gas, it does need to be vented. Just another reminder, if you have it on propane going down the road, we do recommend you turn it off before you pull into a gas station. Next thing I'm going to talk to you about is the shore power cord. It's 25 feet shore power cord. This detaches by simply unscrewing the main plug mechanism and then twisting. There's only one way this will go in. You can see the slots. You'll figure it out. The slots, basically you put it on, twist it to the right, and then go ahead and tuck these on. What this is a 30 amp service, so if you're looking for RV parks, a 30 amp service is going to be supplied by all 99% of the parks in the nation. We provide you, though, with what's called a park adapter. It reduces it from the 30 amp service to a 20 amp service, which is residential power. So we provide this for you. So if you're going to go to somebody's house, or even if you're just going to go home and plug in for the evening before you take off, you want to make sure that you have a plug-in here, or a park adapter, so you can plug into your garage. Now, one of the notes I like to bring up, if you're going to go home, you want to make sure that the refrigerator's level. You don't want to take a motorhome or a travel trailer or anything that has a refrigerator in it, go park it on a hillside. You're going to end up buying a refrigerator. So refrigerators do need to be reasonably level. If that's not the case and you're going to go home and you're going to have to park on a hillside, we want you to turn the refrigerator completely off, and then go ahead and load it if you want to, and then the next day when you take off, go ahead and turn it on at that point. But do not park the trailer on a non-level surface and have the refrigerator going. This simply just twists off, and then you can stow it as well. This is your dump station here at RVs to Go. When you rent a trailer or motorhome from us, there are no prep fees, no tank disposal fees. So it's not part of your cleaning deposit to return the RV holding tanks dumped. We're actually going to sanitize those tanks, which means we're going to actually put a wand down into the toilet and clean those out. But should you need to during your trip, you may have to end up dumping it. So this is kind of just a twist gate. You see one of these valves is substantially bigger than the other one. This would be for the black waste, the solids, the sewer. This would be for the shower and the sinks. If you're going to dump both of those, what we'd recommend is that you remove the cap and install the sewer hose, or what we call the dump hose. Again, it's not designed to be hooked up all the time. Just in the process of dumping, simply turn it on and twist it to the right. It's only about 10 feet. We do not supply the back attachment because we're only designing this for you just to dump it once it becomes needed. First thing you do is actually pull the black valve tank straight out. That discharges all the sewage. Once you've heard it stop, then close that tank valve and pull the gray tank. Okay, and you want to do it in that order because the gray tank is shower water and sink water, and that will clean out all the sewage in the sewer tank or the dump tank hose. Just makes it a little bit cleaner for you. Just pan over here and take a look at the fourth stabilizing jack. We're going to get set up on the tongue and for the last shoot, and then we'll send you out of here.